How you doing, everybody? My name's Matt Quandt. I've been born and raised in Exeter. I graduated high school in 1999 and went into the Army. I served in the 82nd Airborne, and after a couple of years I got out of the Army, and then I served in the Reserves. And I just got out of the Reserves on the 25th of June. I've been your state rep for 6 years now, 3 terms, which was actually 2 terms more than I thought I'd serve. I'm currently working on my bachelor's program for criminal justice and running for re-election for the New Hampshire House of Representatives. I've learned a lot up there. You know, I've watched how things grow, how bills I sponsored as a freshman have come along that are now being sponsored by other state reps and passing this time, because it takes about 6 years to educate the House or educate the state on the issues that need to be done. I've spent most of my time on the Commerce Committee, 4 years on the Commerce Committee. And the Commerce Committee deals with banks, insurance, just about anything that makes money in the state. So it's actually a very important committee to get on, because you always have to have a check and balance between commerce and consumer protection, because we are the committee that deals with consumer protection. I've worked on many consumer protections issues where we've actually in the past couple of years have been doing a backslide towards consumer protection. And one of my initiatives for next term is going to be to work on upgrading the issues we've lost, getting the protection back to the Attorney General's office instead of right now as a state, the main industry regulators are the consumer protectors, which they don't know if they want to be regulators or if they want to be advocates for the industry. So they don't have a high priority for consumer protection. Some of the other issues I've worked on has been health insurance, healthcare delivery. That's something, New Hampshire, one of the second, third healthiest state in the country, but we also pay the highest or some of the highest healthcare costs. Some issues I've worked on were small group health insurance. My first time on Commerce, we passed a bill. It's called Senate Bill 110, and that pretty much wiped out the small group health insurance business, and that was from 1 to 50 groups, 1 person to 50 person. And what happened is we ended up, this was supposed to bring back competition, but only attempted to bring back competition in a very small aspect of the industry, where we need competition industry-wide. One of the other side effects is it actually increased your premiums by up to 40, 50, sometimes 100% in many cases. And it allowed them to write you for certain issues, like age, geographic location. Just because we lived in the seacoast, we were allowed to get charged 15 to 20% more. And then health status, which is you fill out a questionnaire, talk about your health, and they use that to write you up or down, but mostly up, on your health insurance premiums, which gets really, really, really expensive for the small business owner, especially with the paperwork, having to track down 25 to 30 people, before January, when you get ready to renew. Some of the other healthcare issues have been, not cost issues, but right and wrong issues. We had this issue where a girl out of Manchester was going to Plymouth State, ended up having colon cancer at 22 years old. And one of the things that she had to start going through the process of getting chemo and all that. Well, when the bill started rolling into this certain health insurance company, they called her up. So a business manager called her up and said, well, obviously if you're this sick, you can't afford to go to school full time, so therefore you no longer qualify for health insurance. Well, that was just wrong. They threw off health insurance because she couldn't go to school full time. And so it was called a mandate, and we named it Michelle's Law. This girl's name was Michelle Morse. And we passed it after, 2 years. We worked on it for 2 years. Then we passed it. That was probably the most warming thing I've done as a state rep. And I hope for your support in September and November. Thank you.